aba ye mamu na aju enyume mama kwa ba mo ba KFM TV so emre asose enyume sema ya bo ano efie man mu no yedni nia ebeso mu se no nsia kase wo KFM TV ne so sem no edroso ye papa na meka wo se ejume ko bi adaruma ana enyume wo mo ebo ye chido ma ye de kase bo ye de ebeso mu asida piesie enko fama KFM Musical Center wo muton instrument bia se ope combo guitar microphone speaker drum set ni na no do ni etwem o KFM Musical Center so ya wonsa ebetimi akasa instrument ni na ebi ewo hosa wo ba na ekopie mu ewa santimantema wo mo ewa dum wo mo ne Sambra Hotel no ana ebonhwe ni mo kwamantem ha so no wo mo ewa Accra Zongo Lane enu tu betimi akoho na oni KFM Musical Center woni wo mo akoye adwuma no mo no mapa edema ye papa panyume wo mo eso yasne mai de kase boy ye de ebesom ye besan e de aseda biom akọ de ama talent microfinance ane wo mo sika krabia wo mo aba wo mo ebo nipa dodo na mo musika sem agina ne nan so enu nti se wo ye ankranko enyume ko sorry na mo so mo pa bia ye edi musika esie no enyume me kan for talent microfinance ede amount mantam edu insia no talent for album humodi edu eye nsia ni mu a edu na aka no mo egu so mo de hyehye pa egu kwan ede am obi bia se obi abetimi enya wo ho emfaso e wo my Ghana ha se enu nti ketumika na fa ho kodom talent microfinance na yade a wo mo so wo mo aye krado se ni obi bia ebeye adwuma e wo ho sa dadaba tech up enso eton phones ene ho akade bia self Infinix iPhone Samsung yam Techno ni na no do ni etwem e wo dadaba tech up akacha ubenya phones bia ope wo mo e wo kaneshi wo mo ebenta kwa station ne pe enu to betimi akodadaba no akoto phones ne bo no e wo from a warranty address no eno so emu edu ye papa ebusuafo enyume kowe adaruma no mo so masne ma medical se we mede eba abesom nsem no edoso na de bedi mo akotini ebi enyume ye de ebesum se Kennedy Japan ede nsem bi abetudwa wo chim se so ba wo bebo ne homoden abie nnwuma de ama wo mo kita certificate ane wo mo amu kita certificate na wo metimi enya ne ho faso e wo my Ghana ha no nnwume ye de emu ntwemu ye de ebeba besom sa enso so ana Ghana National Fire Service mpeni enso abekase no so ye de emu nsem ye de ebeba besom wo ho sa ye de dwede nsem ebeka ho amo ye de ni dwede nsem enso ebeka ho de amo Empress Gifty wo de nsem bi abetudwa wo bo anan ekopie mu e Ghana man penny His Excellency John Dramani Mahama kache nwe ye de emu nsem ye de ebeba besom weni nsem ne afufo pi ayabo anu aide beso wo se no sia kase wo KFM TV ne so mekai wo se nyume nsem no etwegu e wo ye abefo ntentam fidie ne so Facebook any YouTube KFM TV GH no to betimi ahwe bi na wa share na wa like na wa dwenche ne so odi egu ase ama me kama okay kan fo a enyume wote me nka no edin a meje so eni Maame Esi Nkrumah me da ne me ho sima ba me ba nsem no edoso na me hya ase edi ama.
Yo, I'm for and I am Makwaba at the bar, a KFM Musical Shopper. The Tosumi, no, who free a Kumasa Malcolm that Damono, a sunny at the bar at Dumino, Sabran Udu, a Sambra Junction, Sambra Hotel, Quantana Sope. Now shop no any Sambra Hotel and the Dinsha anymore. Would the free Sambra Hotel, a wood sunny at the co, Nankane and Hagan Hono, Annie, a hot and a KFM Musical Shop. The Tosumi, no, yet be no fofro. Now the air can say, if you papa a timiche, the Odea sorry, the Ode grow agro ahudo. Tuma de be a woody over here a young figure, musical instrument piano, a KFM into a say Ghana Muntie Asante Mai Muntie, a KFM Musical Shop, Anna Sabre, Yabia no fofro Monochai, a war Premper the 2nd Street. We free all men come down now we sunny ediko edumno and udu Sambra Hotel Quantana so now what done on Sunny Faso oho anas KFM Musical Shop yi ewo yani Sambra Hotel ana ewe animo ya twa abrebia
gina me say me ya proud and I say me ya dwa na free Kumasi Edum KFM instrument store. Obi bisa sa se bomen fo de what to ma woni si da. What de niam papa e gina woni na what to say yes. What to no. Bibi aka wakoma. Ni nyina free KFM instrument store Kumasi Edum. So mi gina na me to no ma bitimi nya ho me ka fi se fi papa mu anim na mi gina no. Wo betra ye ko ma sikana twananka kaneu ensamfu ayi.
Ebusia for yeguswa emama kwaba edam asise enyume mu guso etimo TV no ho amohwe no nsia kase wo KFM TV ne so meka wo se enyume sem no edos ye papa na etwego ewe abefo ntintam fidie ne so mesha se ede ama odia eye New Patriotic Party APP amenuko no eye wo mo Frank Atunia wo hwe nim se 2028 abato a ye beto ewo my Ghana wo no obetimi ebedi the New Patriotic Party NPP amenuko nenim na wetu Franka ede ama Kennedy Japan na nkane no woye mrahye bedwani ewa Central eye abato mpeswa so no ende wode sembi abetudwa wode kwama Ghana foi na sese NPP amenuko no bom homode na omutimi eto abe edema no eye ompromisa omde be hihye so no womutu abe edema no na osan ebede mampani ewo my Ghana ha obebo ne homode abo edwuma ye papa ewo my Ghana ha wochie mu se eye unemployment adokro Ghana nipadodo na enye edwuma enye wo my Ghana ha no sa kwenya kase we ekoma na wono de obebo ne homode ebiebie enwuma bebre na ewo my Ghana ha se wo certificate se wo ni certificate obebo ne homode aye bibi e de amasa nkofo we na esanse e kame aye se Ghana ha no se sia wanko school nkita certificate bia e ade edwuma ho e din ye papa e de man nkofo bi sa enu nti wono de sa nkofo no bebu o manimtia e ade obebo ne homode na bibia no webie enwuma e de ama obibia ewo my Ghana ha se okita certificate o se wo nkita bi no obeboa ama bibisa etimi akoso e de ama ye no nti Kennedy eye Japan wono anode nsemwe abetudwa KFM TV enwumre yen so ye de bi abesom ehosa ye de wo efree sansem no enwumre ne de wo akonsem from dia Ghana man pani abedi echi eye Professor Naje no poko ajiman de dwe wono so e de abetudwa wo chem se eye illegal mine meche galam se ekoso e wo my Ghana ha ya de a ye na ye hwe nim se bebo ye homode na ya kon etiasa de we aban eye de obe bia se obetimi aboa magalam se no etu etimi twa wo my Ghana ha wo che se si ade aban e de legislation foforo e beba wo mo beboa akon etia galam se ayekoso wo my Ghana se ne be ya yensuo ene ensase no ebetimi egina ne nan so brane e de amobibia eye Professor Nana Jane Opoko Ajiman wono anode nsemwe abetudwa nyime KFM TV yeso ye de bi esom
banning mining in water bodies. We've been mining gold forever. How come all of a sudden all our waters were polluted? The water sources are normally in our reserve portions. And that's the reason why those areas are reserved forests. Now when you give that to some who can even will it to his family, you all know what I'm talking about. So it becomes a family property. How do you stop that water, that source, from polluting the many rivers, from the source to many areas? A bill is being prepared to reverse what we saw and to ensure that the people are moved out of these areas and properly placed. What's even more disturbing also is the fact that when some mine, they just leave the place bare. We are having reports of people falling into the pits. So we have so many things and we need everybody's support, showing that we can all drink clean water and have healthy food.
Professor Nana Jane Opoko Ajiman wono anodina simpie any apostle what is answer way to join you make FM TV and so ye be abesomo e wono si akase ne so mudi wo every sansem ne mo na me de wo akonsem from the National Democratic Congress NDC amenyoko no eye mrahye bedwane a wo brekum eye west abaton peswa so eye unmunyamfo Dixon Tredua wono so edin se bia betudwa wode e kwama opposition the New Patriotic Party NPP amenyoko na wo chim se womo enda womo ntina se esanse sa womo primaries womo de ebe hihye so e wa afia ye besim no wo chese se primaries womo be yo se womo enyo eye 2028 abato no womo be san edin kuko a opposition de womo betina da ne no nti on de futuo no de kwa mo se womo kukukuku a womo ye womo Ghana se womo be ye primaries ene womo hu ne womo be di ani womo hu ne onye se no watcha senke be ya asesi ade wo mo relax wo mo ntechuku esanse so mo ye primaries so mo anye primaries ya de ankuko ni de etimi akọ e de ama mo awie enu nti semwe ana mrahye bedwani a Brekum West abaton peso so ora Dixon Tredua wono so wode abetudwama a wono nsemtwofo hia ya wone wo mo etwetwe nkomo ho ana de sansem we na etudwa enwumeke FM TV en so ye de bi abesomo ho sayedo free sansem ne mo enwumei na ye de akonsem fufuro mu edia eye district chief executive edema esuageman eye ora Godwin wono so abekasa wo chim se eye eja hyehye ne ade a ekoso e wo my Ghana ha no eye ade a eno wo nsunsuan so bone e wo yesuye papa pass esi ade ende obeti na eja hyewa ha wo cha obeti na eja hyewa ha no eno ana no so aba montine mu a wo bekasa e de afa ho a wo chese sa ade na esi eye ade a entwa yesi o man se abibia no eja hyehye bi ebetimi akoso ne nsem a wo de etudwa na nwume yeso ye de bi esomo
remain one of the most destructive hazards confronting our nation. In markets, residential communities, farmlands, and public institutions, the consequences of uncontrolled fires are far-reaching, leading to the tragic loss of life, property, and productivity. The presence of a well-resourced and strategically located fire station in this community will go a long way to reduce response times during emergencies and enhance community preparedness.
Chief Executive always share Jaman wono anode nsem na etudwe nwumei KFM TV so ye DBA abamiedo free sansem no na edo akonsem from the Ghana Mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wono so e dia nsem bi abetudwa wo chim se tarifa eye US mine wo mode to eye wo my Ghana so efa no ma bebre ehono eno ana ochim se sia de we hia se enkabom kese ebetimi aba eye trade Ghana ye trade sector ni mo se ne be ya ebetimi aboa ma bibia no oman no enso etimi akone ne no ma bia ye hwehwe nim se ebetimi esi wo man Ghana han bibisa ebetimi abem e de aman semwe Mampani John Dramani Mahama wono ana ode etudwa
rapidly after the Second World War. We all agreed that we would adopt a multilateral world order. Unfortunately, some countries have decided to act unilaterally, both in terms of their relationship with other countries, but also in terms of destroying the rules-based world trade order that we all had agreed to. And so countries are slapping tariffs unilaterally on other countries. My own country, Ghana, has not been spared. We've been slapped with 15% tariffs, but I'm sure that is far less than China has been slapped with. And so it's creating a lot of confusion and unpredictability in the whole world. But this is a time that countries that have shared values must stand together. And Ghana and China have had shared values. We have voted in international organizations on the same side. And so as the world becomes more unpredictable, there's a time that countries like Ghana and China and other willing partners that believe in multilateralism should stand even closer together. And we appreciate the work that China is doing in that regard. Let me congratulate China and to thank you for the support you continue to give to Africa through FOCAC. and the Belt and Drive Initiative. These programs are opening up infrastructure that facilitate trade, especially Africa has adopted the African Continental Free Trade Area. And so it becomes important that we put in the infrastructure, the railways, the ports, the roads, to be able to exchange goods between African countries. And China has been one of the countries that has assisted in this regard.
Shima Benunti Semwe Ghana man penny His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wono anodi abetu yen so yedibi abesom yedo every sansem no enwumre na yedo akonsem from there Western Regional Minister Onmonyam for Joseph Nelson wono so abamotim abekasetia mentimi ho ase a ekoso ewo Asamko wo chim se sa mentimi ho ase a ekoso enunam so ema nipa ba ko wo mu eyi ni ti free so a nipa dodo na enso prepare efie bese 80 and no 80% and sa mentimi ho ase etimi affect you no watch say say ade kebe ya aposi fo ngino mo nice no mo nyi adwuma ye papa papa sa akwafa wo mo hwe ma sa basa yesi ye no sa aposi fo hwe na Ghana mra no etimi eni omo di no se ne feta na no ade bia ebe ma justice etimi epie mu ewa Samko enu ti se ade wo no wo gina simpie ni apaso eto sa ade afra aposi fo a wo mo ewo se wo mo hwe ma asem we wo mo di no sania ese efata.
As far as security of this municipality is concerned, it's most unfortunate that we had to experience this. It's criminal for anybody who want to take their laws into their own hands to exact what they think is their right to whatever. And so all the houses burnt here, as you all know, it's a reprisal attack for the attack on the chief. And these persons who attacked the chief and all those who are involved in this act of illegality, this criminal act, will have to be pursued. And I know the police is pursuing them. We are going to follow through to such time that we are able to apprehend them, to send a strong signal to all those who are sitting on the sidelines preparing to do similar things in future. The bigger picture about chieftaincy issues is what is most worrying. A hunter has never come this low. What is happening now is most disturbing. We have the Ahanta Traditional Council that is supposed to be active, be dealing with such issues. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that it's not in the best of shapes. Many issues, many chieftaincy issues that we have within this municipality. And so that is the picture, the big one. Because I'm happy Nana is here, the president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs. And beyond the Hampton West, I think that he will agree with me that we have a litany of such cases, such chieftaincy issues across the region. And so the incident here brings to the fore the need to really up our game as far as resolving chieftaincy disputes is concerned.
Western Regional Minister Onmonyam for Joseph Nelson wono ano de semwe na etuja enumre so ye de bi abesom ye gina ni semi so na ye twa ye ho akogya aboafo nkrato abaye ba asem na do so na metwa so ede amho.
Medobena mi Ghana duko do ajakle ho duko kata. Nye chonyani adevena micho Talent Microfinance Limited Gajadopa. Nye wana susu savings, adishie, school buafo, cashback, ple bubwa okata. Nenyebe egajom de miagbo la letie tomegbeko ateun ahoga dodo. Kenenyebe egajom vivi la nenyebe ogahia ola ateun ava de ogai kene hiafa.
Tanenyebe mi foncho mi afa jongu yo kenye mi afa gadodo nyawa. Business loan elemiashi, church financing elemiashi, salary loan elemiashi, eye bubo li kenye personal loan. Nenyebe mi foncho business loan a enye gadodo ikemie nana asichalao. Nenyebe washiba keke alum eleswe oya va talent mi pepegede nwo nenye washigba lesua ne woge wokekegedeji to talent pomonu ome nenye be mi fonchu mi afa salary loan a enye gado mo mi ke mi vuna mi afa jidudu dola nke ga nyo he ya va talent wo pay slip pe bank statement ye kwenye nwi hia o na kokko ho salary loan le rate mi to keke akeji church financier personal loan va nenye habobo masoli hama eji fufofo sankuo jitao olila ashibobwe kekeake ye flegeno na no hem v choji nto jinwade ware kwereka mpopo kai ganyu he ya talent kuna kpohe ya ole chagbagba na do tare talent bena wo gado monwa anobobwe nami akpenami
Talent Microfinance Jengo Amegan Shipe Ape Latina Tejipo Hotami
Miape Kapomoyenya 050-129-1298 Allo 050-128-9119 Talent Oga Kwamanu Banta
Talent Microfinance, your channel of wealth.
Muina kwaba edamase senyume etmu TV no ha mohwe no nsia kase wo KFM TV ne so mekwaso kai wo senyume sem no etwego ewe abe fontentam video ne so Facebook and YouTube KFM TV GH and to betmi ahwe bi na wa share na wa like na wa dwenche ne so die guase ama me kama eho sa metu ansem ne so na me de wo akonsem foforo mu dia ende dua beto dua se eye Asante South Regional Police Command wo monsa so nipa be semienu emu a wo mo eye suspect edin a wo je so Solomon Opoko ana Collins Abuaje wo mo etwem so mo de eye robbery bia ekọ so ewo ho no ho ana wo mo ekọ robbery nkofo eye abranti bia friend say Kofi Mensa neno enam sama sesi ade aposifo ensa etimi akasa nkofo ya nsemwe ana aposifo ede abetu de nwume yen so ye de bi esomo ebusi afọ enu nti eye nsemwe ana nwume ye de abesomo ye afa de video no aye krado aye de bi somo enyumbi.
I think the last time we met, we said development in our work as policemen, we shall invite you so that we put it across to you, particularly things of public interest. So we have one last week and we want to give it to you so that you can disseminate it so that the majority of Ghanaians can learn, listen and learn. Police arrest two suspects in connection with robbery and murder at Tobiasi Abu. The Ashanti South Regional Police Command has arrested two suspects
in connection with the robbery and murder of a 20-year-old man, Kufi Mensah, at Chopiasi Abu in the Ashanti South region. The suspects identified as Solomon Opoku, 24 years, and Collins Abwadi, 27 years, were arrested following sustained intelligence-led operations. The arrest follows a report made to the Brigade District Police Command on 6 October 2025 by the Assembly Member for the area, Honorable Francis Apia, indicating that the victim had been attacked, killed, and his Howden motorbike stolen. On 10 October 2025, suspect Solomon Opoku was arrested at council quarters in Obuasi when he attempted to sell the stolen motorbike. Further investigations led to the arrest of his accomplice, Collins Abwadi, at Kokutisma, also a suburb of Obuasi. Both suspects have admitted to the crime, and the stolen motorbike has been retrieved. The two suspects are currently in police custody and will be put before court today, Monday, 30th October 2025, to face the full rigors of the law. The Ashanti South Regional Police Command assures the public of its resolve to pursue justice and ensure the safety and security of all communities within the Ashanti South region. Thank you very much for coming.
Way and Asante South Regional Police Command the Abetuja KFM TV. Yes, we be Abesom Yedo air to answer concern from there. And they do copy more air Boswa a dear fire service for one new branch, our more esin, more ecobia, no elhino, a needed SME papa, and no Ednam, so Emma James, a yohine by Yao, quarantine, where Director Edma Legal Affairs, Edma Ghana National Fire Service. Now no agent simply near Pastor I would send be a 2 or they quamo bibia or my Ghana watch him say a young pimpin a year Ghana for no bibia or more and share my fire service for Medimano intimate and cost to 30. One year among Casa ye quite on Pastor when the fire service for no age mano a debia when you engine was a side at the shed and no more de quamo bibia same pimpin now more share na cooperation a want to memo for no any fire service one them no intimate and cost to boko and farmer obibia.
And its surrounding community to take ownership of these facilities. It belongs to you. The fire officers are your friends. Say no to acts of vandalism, aggression, or assault against our firefighters. And know that they are here to serve your interest, protect your lives, and safeguard your properties. To the personnel posted here, I urge you to carry yourself with honor and discipline. Uphold the highest standard of professionalism. Engage constructively with the stakeholders and serve with compassion and dedication. For in doing so, you protect life, safeguard property, and preserve our environment for generations to come.
Ebusia Fenunti, Eastern Regional Commander, the Ghana National Fire Service Assistant, Chief Fire Officer, a friend said Timothy, Osafo, Efum, one so, the Abetuja, watch him say, 2025, 9 months, a betray muno, a year, a Jashisha base, 529, and now woman, my Ghana, a mubes, 176, and so a year, the Omutimi, a CV, and Womuche say, fire a year jashishen a idea air cost or my Ghana high papa ye see 2025 no a first 9 months no a year a jashishe best 529 and a yetimi enya ewo my Ghana hemu 176 and so anomotimi so
quarters of 2025 the Eastern region has recorded a total of 529 fire incidents and 176 rescue operations respectively. These incidents resulted in an estimated cost of damage to property worth 43,534,806 cedis. as well as 95,022,990 worth of properties that were salvaged or saved by the fire service. Losses of property to fires in the region. To our school children, market women, local businesses, and all stakeholders, the fire station is open to you for education, fire safety training, and partnership. Let us work together to prevent fires before they start. Prevention is always better than cure.
Ebusia for a assistant chief fire officer Timothy Osafo Efumwono and the same way ebetu KFM TV so yedi bi abesom yedu free jashe semu na yedo akonsen from edia seed bishop Edimatema Diocese Most Reverend Professor J. Kwabna Asamwa Jedu Wono presiding bishop at the Methodist Church Ghana na wodin sembi abetuja wode kwama penifo ahodra womo ewo man Ghana ha mudi o man ni wo chese nkebe ya bibia no womo fanya misho nyankopon kwan so emfambu o man no na bibia eno de betimi aboa amo mining kanko no etimi akwanim ye papa nti ono de adesrede we ana de kwama penifo ahodro a womo ewo man
033 from June. But I started building the passage from Exodus 32. In Exodus 32 there was something called an apostasy. Aaron led the people of Israel to fashion an idol because Moses had tarried on the mountain. And so in chapter 33, Moses goes back to God because Aaron has disappointed, and Aaron has to and Moses has a new companion, and God says to him, "My presence will go with you." And my charge to the bishop is that when you have the presence of God accompanying you in any journey, you will do well. First, Moses went for Aaron. Aaron is a human being and he failed. But when God says, "My presence will go with you," you will succeed. So my point is that human advisors are important, but he must seek to walk in the will of God if he wants to do well. And I think that goes for all leaders, especially leaders, whether in business, in politics, wherever you find yourself. If you go with God, you will succeed. But if you allow your agenda to be driven by human considerations, you will fail. There is a hymn in the Methodist hymn book, stand up for Jesus." One of the lines of that hymn says, "The arm of flesh will fail you, you dare not trust your own." So my point is that if the new bishop wants to succeed, he must let the presence of God accompany him. And whatever he does, he will do well.
Ebusia for anything same way ana sofu penny wode ebetu dia yesu ye de bi ebesum ye de efisa semnum dia ye de ekwapo mu de ensemu enche bia ana health workers ahodo a wo mo ewo my Ghana ye nurses for any midwives for no wo mo de wo mo oye twebi ehihye se no nam so ama eye nurse ni ba kwa ni obekasa bebre ne kasa ne bi etia health minister Kwabena Minta Kando eno enam so amende beto dwa se eye health ministry no wo mo edikwewi akwama eye abayo ye friend se Benis Abuaje se nkombe yi ni hwano enfa sansema wo kafa health minister ehono nende du eye health minister Kwabena Minta Kando edi abetudwa wo de adesede kwama health ministry ne se ene Ghana Health Service enkebe ya wo mo enhwe na sa kwewi a wo de ama eye Mrs Benis Abuaje no wo mo enyi fi ho na no eye ade bi o mo ya ebema nini ajiye pa.
I want to sound as though I want to encourage indiscipline in the sector. But I think that I wish I was not the one at the center of this issue. I wish that a nurse or a health professional has been called to answer how maybe he or she has mistreated or mishandled a client or a patient, and not about the minister. I am a public servant, and if His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is your president, you must always look up to him. Freedom of speech, the right to demonstrate, divergent opinion, are some of the Excellency, His Excellency the President, upholds so high. And so you cannot be his appointee and frown on those things. So I have absolutely nothing against anybody who demonstrates. But of course, as I stated earlier on, let us do that responsibly. And so I'll urge the Director General of the Ghana Health Service to temper justice with mercy. This is not to encourage anybody to act irresponsibly. But I think that this should not engage our attention. What is important is how we solve the issues, the challenges we have inherited. That should be the focus, and not these tangentials. I would also not want to sound as though I am condemning those who want to uphold professionalism and discipline in the sector. No, I will not do that. But with the greatest of respect. We have done this work for more than 25 years. We've gone through, the extreme. We've gone to worse things than this. But once you are determined to serve your people, some of these things are simply not avoidable. You need them. And by the grace of God, I have the skill to accommodate some of these things. And so, subsequently, it was over the weekends, I will engage the Director General on phone and then try to appeal to him to. That doesn't stop any measures they are taking with respect to other things or any disciplinary actions they are taking in the sector or whatever. But I do not want it to set that as though somebody openly expressed his or her opinion and she's being gagged, and you know how people will read meanings into this, and that will divert their attention from the good things we are doing. We are determined, we are resolute, we are focused to fix the challenges we have inherited as part of the.
And when the health minister Kwabena Mintah Kando wano ano den semu etudwa ne sem no one face wa was saying e de tudwa bioma wo che say e health workers be say 14,000 a wo mo e won my gan ha wo mo salary no sisi ade aban e de hihye pa egu kwan ma sasika no wo mo be hwe etua e de amo bibia wo che say e nurses bo be say 13,500 midwives so be say 800 no wo mo e be hwe amo mo sika sem no wo mo aswa no e de amawo.
We recently had some junior doctors threatening to go on strike. They have started work without clearance, without salaries, without pay. Again, we collaborated with the Ministry of Finance, and as I speak to you now, we have succeeded in getting them clearance, and they are being migrated onto the payroll. We had about 800 medical doctors who had finished their housemanship, but they were still at home without clearance. As I speak to you now, the Ministry of Finance has issued clearance, and all these medical doctors are going to start work with immediate effect. And with this one, our priority areas are in the rural areas. So it was not only the issue of the 13,500 nurses and midwives. There were pharmacists who had completed their housemanship as far back from 2023 to 2024 who had not been paid. We inherited that. And those people have been paid. I am telling you what we inherited and what we have done about them and what we are doing about them. we had more than 17,000 rotational nurses, allied health professionals who also didn't have clearance as far as their rotation was concerned. By the grace of God, we have secured clearance.
Was signed edit to Jabima watch him say a year 2021 badge, a year nurses and midwives, a year or more allowance, or more Nipa best 6,500 or Muntia Famono. Watches a see the cabinet in Adia to Oma Provice, Sanko for Musicano, woman Shena, woman Faninia, and Famo. Nunti Kwamnamita Kando HMC, a year on paid nurses and midwives, a year 2021 badge, no, a year or more allowance, and Cecilia and Penny for Adia to say. One more F
500, that will add up to the 7,000 already being paid, making 13,500. That's allowance, that's over 6,000. Cabinet has approved that with immediate effect, starting from November, the Minister for Finance must pay them. And I have in my hand a letter to that effect. And so these were the difficulties. I empathize with anybody who had to go through this painful situation. And it is important for Ghanaians to be taken along.
Kando one and the same way to join make FM TV and so ye DB Abeson was sign edit to job my watch him say coming ISS no ya Robbie Brina and Aba Emudona so one more fast so I turn and I said watches a diabetes there a heart disease, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, a Arabia Aman whom you papa or my Ghana ha a nipa best 45% and Arabia or more fast and Yawawi so etwan and I said watches and no a idea no I did or my Ghana I shall him say won't bet me akon etiasan Yawawi and my emukamna minta kando one no sign Eden same way
show that about 43 to 45% of our mortalities are attributable to NCDs. This is how scary it is. In fact, even if you move to the adults, it's even scarier. In fact, I'm told that 1 out of every 3 adults in Ghana has hypertension. And so there is the need for us to do something immediately about it. So the current arrangement for payment of dialysis is that if you go to public health facilities, we have a maximum amount of money we pay per session. That's around 499 something, about 500 Ghana cedis. What we have realized is that there are people who also go to the private facilities. And so His Excellency the President has directed us to give that which is paid to the public facilities. So for example, if you go to private facility A and they are charging you 1,000 Ghana cedis, the government will pay the 500 Ghana cedis and you top up, to be fair to everybody. So the CEO for National Health Insurance has been directed accordingly to
same way and a crab naminta kando our health minister ewo my Ghana hanu wodi abetuja KFM TV and so ye DB abesum ye gina ne sem no so na ye di apomode sem ni nia aba na wie ye na madane me hosema aba me ba me de sem no eko edwedi edwede nsemu dia Ghana Revenue Authority womone National Security Agencies womo ayenkabu ma mo chese eno de bia beboa ye papa ama diesel no etimi ahwe akonani menu ti se ade jinari ene Ghana National Security Agencies no nkabo mu anoma ya womo de nsem ne bi etudwa ye so ye di bi esomo.
The operation led to the interception of 10 trucks loaded with automotive gas oil, referred to as Argo or commonly known as diesel, estimated about 540 liters. Based on the intelligence we received, our team and that of the National Security followed the loaded trucks with these goods to the port, as they were suspected to be export of goods. And as you may be aware, when goods are loaded for export, it attracts no taxes. However, upon arrival at the port, our team discovered that no vessel had been designated to receive the product. Investigations later revealed that the operations or the parties that are carrying the goods had disengaged the tracking devices that were also fixed on the tankers or the trucks and diverted them under the cover of darkness. The trucks, instead of completing the export process, exited the port area about 3 a.m. on the 8th of October 2025, and they were traced on the Pont Enclave towards a different direction. Acting swiftly on intelligence, the Customs Preventive Unit, again working with the National Security Operatives, intercepted the tankers or the trucks, the 10 of them at Pont.
Ebusi afanunti nsɛmwe ana Ghana Revenue Authority ene me wo de abetu dwaye so ye de bi abesomo ewo no nsi akase no so migina no so na me de dwade nsɛm no aba na wie ye na madane me hosima aba me ba me de nsɛm no ekɔ enigede. Ebusia for me de nsɛm no ekɔ enigede nsɛm mu dia eye gospel musician eba no gospel nyumte wo my Ghana ha wo bone homodi wo mu ye papa Empress Gifty ana meka ne ho asemi ende due abeto dwa say Empress Gifty eye award best and song a wenya e wo my Ghana ha no wa bone homodi etutu ne 9 pan ekopie ma Penny John Dramani Mahama Kachia wako present sa award ni na edi ama na wo chese ni modern bo our boy wo my Ghana hano and edino edru baby a and edri wedwe no nti eye Empress Gifty wono ano this award de kopiem e Ghana man penny His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na Kachia man penny enso eso mu aya nigede asem ye papa na wosan e de adehye de biem eto man penny John Dramani Mahama ni ma wo chese was na kebe ya wonhwe ama Ghana creative art industry no wonsi auditorium kese baako farmer na so yes ade na ede mamwa ono Empress Gifty ade anani ebeji ye papa say Ghana ye creative art industry no womo ebo homodin ye papa na emum ka no ma baako mienu bia e wo se mpeni 40 mi hwe na womo de momo so mo ye momo eno de bia ebema industry no etimi ewie pe na abibia no womo so womo abom homodin ye papa abo ejuma e wo my Ghana no ti ade sede we ana Empress Gifty a wo ye gospel musician no wo de atuma Penny John Dramani Mahama ni ma wo hwe nim se wo betimi aye e de ama no ye gina Empress nsemi so na ye de ni gede nsem no ene enwume no si akase no ye ni nia aba na wie nsem no na edoso ye papa na de di mu akotini ebi ene se Kennedy Japan echemu se so ba obebo ne homodin aye ndwuma e de ama mo mkita certificate eno ma umunkita certificate no so obeye bibia de amomo sa enso so ana and then me Ghana National Fire Service eye officers for fra ya tioma no wo mo so ede nsem bi etudwa no so ye mu nsem yɛde ɛbɛso mo yɛde adwade esem ɛka ho ɛde ma Ghana Revenue Authority and a National Security Agency ayɛ nkabo ma mo bɛhwɛ ama diesel tax aviation no etimi akɔ nim ye papa yɛde ani gyade ensem enso ɛka ho ɛde ma Empress Gifty enso ɛyɛ na award best enso a wonya ɛwɔ my Ghana ha no wabone homode ɛde ekopie mu ɛwɔ Mampeni John Dramani Mahama kacha yɛde mu ntwemu yɛde ɛbɛsom wene nsɛm ne afoforo pie anwumre yɛ boa no a yɛde ɛbɛsom sɛ no nsia kase wɔ KFM TV ne so aseda PSC enkonfama yɛ boa for KFM Musical Center Dadaba Tech Hub and Talent Microfinance wo mo ana anwumre wo mo ɛbɔ yɛ twi dɔm a yɛde kase boy yɛde ɛbɛsom ɛbɔ no wɔtwe pepepa eno Kofi Adadbo enso ɛde the sports report dwumedie no wɔde bɛto aso ɛde amokenkan fo a anwumre wo temi nka no ɛdi a meje so ɛne Maame Esi Nkrumah yɛ mamu ina adwo